Welcome this morning. I'm Mindy Tate, CEO of Franklin Tomorrow, and welcome to the June 17th Frank Talks. This is our first time in this wonderful facility known as the PAC here in the Franklin Special School District. So thank you so much to the Franklin Special School District for hosting us, and I know we have several board members. I'll let Dr. Snowden introduce them, hopefully, and also Jason Golden. But welcome this morning. We are appreciative of the time that we have, an hour together, and so we're going to get started with our program. And we can't do our programming. Franklin Tomorrow, our mission is to engage the community, foster collaboration, and then advocate for a shared vision for the future of Franklin. And we believe that the citizens have told us they want Franklin to be a city with a robust economy, vibrant neighborhoods, distinct character, and great people. And that great people is you, because you've come here this morning to be engaged and be part of learning about our school system and learning about how you can support or be engaged in the school system as well. So our partners today, we appreciate Atmos Energy, which is a sustaining partner for Franklin Tomorrow, as is Williamson Health. And this is a big week for them, and I'm going to have Greg come up, and Jeremy will play a video after Greg speaks. So come on up.
2 years later, it's finally here. We got a flyer out on the table. Tomorrow, 3:30 to 6:30, the West Tower. We're going to have a big community event. We invite you and your families to come out, see us cut the ribbon, take some tours. And the other thing I want to tell you about is a video which we're going to queue up. Past few months we've been talking about, for residents in a cardiac emergency, what to do. We've shown about exceptional care is here, whether it's our advanced cardiac cath lab, our newly expanded emergency room, or the excellence of our emergency services countywide. But what we haven't talked about is you. You are the first critical link in the chain of survival. Let's take a look at how you can help save a life with an AED.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
We are inside the Williamson County 911 Center, where these public safety dispatchers take nearly 500 calls a day.
Your mom's not breathing?
Many of these calls are medical emergencies, including cardiac episodes. Take it from us, you don't need to be a medical professional to save a life. Almost anyone can use an AED and perform CPR. As a matter of fact, AEDs can be found in many public places across the community, and they provide clear, step-by-step instructions so that anyone can use them effectively. In a moment, I'll show you how. Every year in the United States, over 350,000 cardiac arrests occur at home or in public places outside of the hospital setting. National statistics show that immediate CPR and AED usage can double or even triple a person's chance at survival. But that only happens when people like you, citizens, who are willing to act, step in. Here's what you can do in an emergency. First, if you see someone collapse, quickly assess the situation. Are they breathing? Are they responsive? If not, action is needed immediately. Seconds count. Call 911 right away to get professional help on the way. Don't hesitate. The sooner you call, the sooner help will arrive. And simultaneously, the 911 dispatchers can guide you with step-by-step instructions.
Is there an AED available?
Yes, there's an AED on the wall. I'll go get it.
If there's an AED nearby, use it quickly. All you have to do is turn it on and follow the voice prompts.
Connect electrodes.
You have nothing to fear. The machine will guide you through the process and will only deliver a shock if it's necessary. Remember, your actions can make the difference between life and death.
Stand clear.
It's clear.
Analyzing now.
You might feel nervous or unsure. That's normal, but your involvement gives the person the best chance at survival until emergency services arrive. Williamson Health EMS and our public safety partners consider it a privilege to provide you with an exceptional EMS system. However, the chain of survival starts with you. We encourage every citizen to take a few moments to learn more about AED usage and CPR. Together, we can save lives.
Thank you so much. And just to follow up with what Greg said about tomorrow's event, kids' games, free food, not just tours and ribbon cuttings, but something for the community, a great community celebration as that new facility opens. Also, so we are great partners. Our presenting partner for Frank Talks is Renaissance Bank, and we've got Diane LeBlanc and Tony Sharp here this morning to talk a little bit about what's on their minds today and on making banking work for you. Just advance it one. How about that?
Gotcha. Thank you. Oh. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. What a great crowd, and we are honored to be a partner with Franklin Tomorrow and Frank Talks on a monthly basis. I'm Diane LeBlanc, and I'm part of the private client group of Renaissance Bank. And I've got Tony Sharp here. Tony is at our Carruthers office, 9135 Carruthers, and he's a commercial banker over there. We thought, since we're talking about report cards today, I know the C's and D's won't be on what we're talking about today, but CDs is very special to us at the bank, and we got a lot of those. See how I played that? So wanted to just give a quick overview of what's out there in our bank today for CDs. We have 5-month at 5%, an 11-month at 4.75, and you can see the rates as you look up there on the screen. A minimum of 10,000 and up to 35 months at 3%. So come see us. We'd love to help you and give you some of these great rates. Thanks.
So they say Tony works at the Carruthers branch. I took my life in my hands and walked up through that parking lot up there on Carruthers by Starbucks to see him one day, and he was not there. And they didn't even know who he was. I'm joking, of course, but he's playing golf, so that's great. So we appreciate that. And then today, if you are looking at this building and you're thinking, wow, this is quite a facility, we want to thank Jim Gilliam and Beth Meadows are here from Wald Architects and Engineers, and Chase Harper from Nabholz Construction. They have been the partner with the Franklin Special School District on this facility and also on others. And if you want to see something really impressive, drive down Eddy Lane and see the new central office and transportation facility that's being built there, and really, quite honestly, rehabbing that neighborhood. So it's exciting to see that. But thank you to Nabholz and Wald for supporting this today. So thank them, please. And even though you couldn't bring your coffee in, we always have to thank Lion Leadership Group as being our coffee sponsor. And has anyone noticed the clothes for remodeling of the 96 West? There are actually Brico blocks going in place now. So it is coming back. I was getting a little nervous about that McDonald's because it is a great little breakfast stop sometimes when I'm not at Sonic. But hey, I like McDonald's too, so all good. So we are so lucky. It seems June is a good time to do this, to mark our report cards and that the school year is over. We've had a little break from school. Most of you have probably taken the kids somewhere or had a little scheduling. How do we schedule them? So we are so lucky to have with us this morning to give us a report card on schools, Dr. David Snowden, the Director of Schools for the Franklin Special School District, and Jason Golden, the Superintendent of Williamson County Schools. And I'm going to call Dr. Snowden up first and hand him this handy-dandy projector control and give him the chance to tell us a little bit about the report card on Williamson County Schools for 2023-24. Dr. David Snowden.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is a beautiful facility. We're very proud of this facility. You want your slide? No. Oh. Just don't mess them up? Mindy told me last week, she said, You got way too many slides. She said it in a nice way. So we will probably end up skipping some slides just because I know it's too much. But anyway, welcome. Glad you got to experience this building. I have to comment and introduce, I think we have at least 2 of our board members tonight. They had the foresight in making sure that we had a facility such as this to showcase the talent of our students in this school district. So Mr. Blair, Chair, and Mr. Townsend, our Secretary, if you'll stand up, thank you for your foresight. And as well as the other board members. It took more than 2, I can assure you, to approve this. Before we start today, too, I don't know if you know a teacher, or if you happen to live with a teacher, or you have a relative that's a teacher, but let me say this, and you may probably know this, but if you don't, teaching is more difficult today than it's ever been. Our school administrators, there are more challenges in the school buildings each and every day than there's ever been. So I just want to take time today to recognize the monumental efforts of our teachers and our school administrators each and every day. It's a challenge, and they just step up and meet those challenges each and every day. So I don't know if we have any teachers here. I know we have some school administrators, so would you give them an applause, please? I know we're supposed to be talking about report card, and we will, but we also want to talk about our future and where we are presently. When you look at, summer's really busy. People say, well, what do you do all summer? There's a lot going on. We have the summer learning camp that's going on in Poplar Grove at Poplar Grove Elementary. Our Young Scholars Institute finished last week. 39 years that program has been in existence. Our summer MAC, morning and afternoon care, is going on. We have 2 summer feeding sites where we have that students 18 and under can have a free meal, breakfast and lunch. Also, other adults can pay for that meal if they choose to do so. And then summer story time. I don't know if any of you are familiar with our story bus, but our story bus is being renovated. So we don't have that available this summer. So instead, we're having summertime, this story summer, try to say it again, summer story time that's happening at Franklin Elementary. Also, we are excited about the upcoming move in late winter, early spring to our new central office. I'd like to recognize Dr. David Esslinger. He is our Associate Director for Finance Administration. He oversaw this project as well as the Poplar Grove Elementary gym. And he's doing a great job along with help from Chip Sternberg, our facilities manager. We're already utilizing the FSST Facilities and Transportation Center about a month, maybe a little longer. We've never had a bus and maintenance facility. The buses were parked at schools, but this is a very modern, up-to-date. We can actually do repairs here instead of having to outsource, contract out repairs for our school buses. So that's going to be a big plus. Young Scholars, I mentioned that earlier. It's a great opportunity for parents to utilize the summer camp atmosphere. We already mentioned summer learning camp, and we're excited about the students. We have approximately 400 students that are attending our summer learning camp. We mentioned summer story time in lieu of our story bus. And then we're going to just mention a few things: our strategic plan, exceptional new programs, strong leadership, exemplary education, and a safe and secure learning environment, community connection, and we'll finish up with our canine kennel of therapy dogs. Strategic plan, I know all of you in business, you have a strategic plan. And in our situation, we just finishing our REACH 2024 strategic plan. And so it was time to develop a new strategic plan, which we're very proud of, facilitated by Dr. Mary Decker, the Associate Director of Schools for Teaching and Learning, as well as all the teaching and learning members of her team. Also, Matt Brown helped facilitate a couple of meetings of our stakeholders. So This was a plan that was, the whole process, the development of this process, or development of this plan rather, was through input from the entire community. So we're very thankful for those who participated in that development, and we're excited about going forward with it. And here are the three main goals. Number one, around academics. Again, focusing on improving literacy and math proficiency by 10%. Now, when you see these, and some people say, well, what about science and social studies and other things? It doesn't mean that we don't concentrate on those. These are just the areas of focus for our strategic plan. All the other things are happening as well. So that's goal one around academics. Goal two, belonging and well-being. We mentioned how challenging our schools, how many challenges they have with students who become dysregulated. We just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can and have all the tools in our toolbox to create that belonging and the sense of well-being in our schools. And finally, goal three, community presence and communication. We're going to continue to market and make sure that we're communicating and making sure that we have significant family engagement as we go forward. Exceptional new programs. We're really excited. We're really excited to partner with Williamson County Schools as well. But this fall, our 7th and 8th grade, primarily 8th graders, will have an opportunity to participate in a class, Introduction to Aerospace. That program also was the development and the process. Dr. Mary Decker, along with principals Dr. Farmer and Dr. Orman at Poplar Grove Middle, they have helped develop this program so that both Poplar Grove Middle and Freedom Middle will have Introduction to Aerospace classes this coming school year. We do have, and they're all being set up at this point, 5 different flight simulators for each classroom. So those of you that want to learn to fly, you may want to sign up. Oh, you may not, you have to be an 8th grader, sorry. If I was an 8th grader, I would be really excited about this opportunity. And when we announced the possibility, we've had lots of students sign up, lots of parents signing their students up, because I don't know if you've seen the statistics, but there is going to be in the future, probably already is, a great need for pilots and mechanics, other things. So this is an opportunity, and we look forward to continuing to work with Williamson County as they also are going to be offering aerospace. Not sure if some of that slide, I'm a little behind here. I would show you the video, but it takes too long, and Mindy's already said I have too many slides. So, computer science tech repair. This is an exciting program that we started this past year at Poplar Grove Middle as a pilot. We expect to expand that program to Freedom Middle for this coming school year. Our students, 7th and 8th grade students now, and you're not going to be surprised at this, are repairing Chromebooks and other computers as 8th graders and 7th graders. But how many of you have seen or had your grandchildren back when you had to deal with VCRs and program VCRs? How many of you did it yourself, or you had your kids or grandkids do it? Don't, I know you did. Don't try to say you didn't, because they know technology. They're native technologies. We're immigrants. Well, I won't speak for all of you. I'm an immigrant with technology, but our kids today are very much in tune with technology. Our teacher, Jake Hothager, and our instructional folks in our technology department, they've been instrumental in helping students learn how to make these technology repairs. Also, we're excited to recognize Purple Star schools, We have 3 of the 44 schools that are across the state that met the eligibility criteria and were selected by the Tennessee Military Institute Children's Compact Commission to be presented with the Tennessee Purple Star School Award. Poplar Grove Elementary School, Liberty Elementary School, and Johnson Elementary Schools are the 2024 recipients of that recognition. And what that basically means is you have to meet the criteria where you are friendly to military families, and we all know that our military men and women do a great job of protecting and ensuring our freedom. and we're glad to be a part of the Purple Star School recognition. We also had some really incredible extracurricular experiences that just ended. We had our students, several students, or many students rather, that participated in Marine Lab in Key Largo for 6th and 7th graders, and then National Invention Convention that just concluded in Chicago for our 6th and 7th graders. Also, just a little more about our school board, 7-time and current TSBA Board of Distinction. We have 5 out of the 6 are considered to be Master School Board members. Also, Mr. Blair, who I introduced earlier, was selected by TSB as the Hal Hennard School Board Member of the Year for the entire state. So, congratulations, Mr. Blair. Also, we have 2 regional semifinalists for Principal of the Year, Dr. Alicia Erickson on the left, and Dr. David Esslinger, who I mentioned earlier, is a regional semifinalist for Supervisor of the Year. Also, some other exemplary leaders in the classroom. Robin Cross, there on the left, she was awarded the Tennessee of Excellence in Nutrition, the only one in the state. Claire Ashford in the middle there, one of 32 across the nation that was chosen as a Curriculum Associates iReady Exemplary Educator. That's our Math Universal Screener. On the right, Deb Schuler. She's one of 4 state finalists for the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching. And then we just learned last night, she's not in the slides because late information, breaking news, just learned last night that Lori Morgan, not the Lori Morgan that sings, this Lori Morgan is the Poplar Grove cafeteria manager and was named recently as Tennessee Manager of the Year for child nutrition. So congratulations to Lori. Exemplary education and a safe and secure environment, learning environment. We're very proud of this. This past year, and we didn't get this notification until mid-year, there was a lot of, tardiness because of test scores and changes in formulas. But the Franklin Special was one of 12 school districts in the state that met the exemplary status criteria. And then we also had 3 elementary schools that were award schools, Poplar Grove, Franklin, and Liberty Elementary. Very proud of that achievement from the folks in our school district. Here's a 3rd grade promotion retention from last year and then from 2022 and in 2023. We're still analyzing and getting those scores. We expect the results will be the same. We had no 3rd graders last year that were retained. I know there was a lot of information, a lot of publicity about 3rd grade retention. We had no 3rd graders retained last year. We don't anticipate any 3rd graders being retained this year going into next year. And a 4th grader, we got a couple, but they still have avenues or opportunities where they will not be retained as well. Our Model Classroom Initiative, this was started in the spring. We have our teaching and learning team selected 12 educators for this model classroom. They had to have an application, a principal's recommendation, and also had to be observed in the classroom. So we're really looking forward to having this program get off the ground this year. We think we'll see great results. And also we think the results will permeate throughout the district as other teachers have an opportunity to see these model teachers in action. Safety and security is extremely vital, it's extremely important in our school district as well as every school district. Selby Glass, our safety and security supervisor, does a great job working with our SROs as well as the Franklin Police, Williamson County Juvenile Court, the District Attorney, and also Williamson County Emergency Management. We have a great, we certainly appreciate the County Mayor Anderson, the County Commission, Sheriff Hughes for their support of the SRO program. And we also like to thank Mayor Moore, all the aldermen in the City Administrator Eric Stuckey, Chief Faulkner, and also Jay Fahey of the District Attorney's Office. All of these individuals, all these groups are vitally important to our entire safety and security plan. We have a great threat assessment model that is, I think, one of the best in the nation, not just the state. And both Michael Fletcher and Selby Glass have both presented in national conferences on our threat assessment model. We're also looking to continue to increase our school building enhancements and having access control. I don't know if you've ever been in a school up until, and it's still ongoing. When I first became an assistant principal at a school, they handed me a big stack of keys on a key ring. And I said, what are all these to? And they said, we don't know, you got to figure that out. So we're trying to get away from having so many keys and having the badges, our ID badges, to be utilized to access control, or have access control and have the badges utilized to enter a building. And then also our Williamson County Drug Response Collaborative, working together to make sure that we raise awareness of the drug issues in our county, not just in the state, not just in the nation, but in this county as a whole. Community connections, we have lots, and we want to continue to make those, and those are just some of the ones that we mentioned there. Our summer food service, we already mentioned those. United for Hope, our Nook, who provides elements of needs for our students, no matter what time of day, they're always on call and ready, and Gentry's Educational Foundation. A little bit about our PAC and our Legacy Gallery. If you didn't get a chance to go in our Legacy Gallery, we invite you to go there. It showcases the history of the Franklin Special School District. I have to give kudos to Susanna Gentry, our communication specialist, as well as Dr. Alicia Erickson. They were the drivers of the Legacy Gallery, and they spent a lot of hours working to make sure that facility, that room, showcased the great history of the school district. And then also this facility, the PAC as we refer to it, is utilized a lot. As you can see, there's been 20 to 25,000 of local audiences, volunteers, staff, and performers who have utilized this facility. 20 local organizations processed over $200,000 in ticket sales. Rental inquiries have doubled for this year. The first year we didn't rent the facility out. We wanted to see how much our schools utilized it, but it's been utilized quite a lot, and every available weekend is already booked from now until July of 2025. So you can see it's an investment for not just the school district, but for the community as well. Our United for Hope partnership, as I mentioned earlier, this is through Operation Andrew. We already had great partners with our churches, but this has been even, the work with United for Hope has enhanced those partnerships, and they are doing a great job in connecting churches with our individual schools. Taking a bike campaign, we had $15,000 of student cafeteria debt that was eliminated by not only individuals but employees, churches. So this is great opportunity because we have a lot of students who may not be on free and reduced lunches or breakfast or meals, but they do need help, and so they end up charging. And that's this is just a great, we think, a great opportunity, and more or less, we are so thankful for those who are willing to step up and offset the debt of these students in the cafeteria. Finally, our therapy dogs. We're still excited about this program. We lost 2 therapy dogs this year. You don't expect to lose one. Well, you do, realistically. But we had a retirement. Our very first, Maddie Grace at Johnson Elementary. She retired in December. And then unfortunately, we had one, Blake at Franklin Elementary. He got a real aggressive cancer right after the first of the year, and he passed away very shortly after. So, but all of them do a great job. As we said earlier in our presentation, schools have a lot of challenges, and this is just one tool in the toolbox to help our teachers, help our students. Not only students need therapy, but adults need therapy too. And these therapy dogs are a great asset to each of our schools. So, Mindy, I'm sure I went over my time, but I did get through all the slides. So, thank you all.
I want to ask you a question. So you talked a lot about some summer programs that are going on, but and you also mentioned that there are students in our district on free and reduced lunch. So there's the opportunity for people, you don't forget about those kids in the summer who might need that support in terms of nutrition and food. So got free summer meal program going?
Yep, absolutely. We mentioned that at 2 different sites. Johnson Elementary is the main site. We're not doing deliveries this year, which we have done in the past. We felt like we weren't getting the bang for our buck, so to speak. But still opportunities for kids to have free meals during the summer.
Breakfast and lunch. Breakfast and lunch at Johnson Elementary and Franklin Housing Authority. Today's hamburger day, so I was pretty excited about that, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so.
I forgot to mention one thing quickly. As my colleague comes up, Jason Golden has been selected by the Mid-Cumberland region as the Mid-Cumberland Superintendent of the Year. So welcome him.
All right, thank you so much. Look at how many pages I get to turn to get to the Williamson County Schools. So thanks so much, Dr. David Snowden. And how many years here in the district, David? 1 or 2. 23. And I think they got him to maybe put some ink to a contract for a few more years. So great leadership here. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jason Golden. Jason, how many years?
My 19th, but 5th as superintendent.
5th as superintendent?
6th.
I'm going to turn it over to Jason Golden, our Williamson County Schools Director, Superintendent. So there you go. If you want to advance.
Thank you, Mindy. All right. Thank you, guys. I have 7 slides, and I think you said 15 minutes, right, Mindy? So we'll try to crank through this. When Dr. Snowden was presenting, his comments just triggered so many thoughts of mine. I want to gush about the success we've had. First, I want to introduce, we do have 2 school board members here with us. I know Eric Welch and Sheila Cleveland are here, so thank you guys for being here from Williamson County Schools. I know we also have some other elected officials and actually some school board candidates. The election is coming up in August, so thank you all for being here as well. I mentioned that Dr. Snowden was triggering so many positive thoughts. I want to talk a little bit, just some basic facts. Franklin Special School District is a kindergarten, pre-kindergarten through 8th grade school system that flows into Williamson County Schools. From a zoning perspective, their students go to both Franklin High School and Centennial High School, but some of their students end up at different schools as well, in part because of our programming. Dr. Snowden, I don't think we've had a better relationship in the 100+ years that these 2 school systems have existed than we do now. And y'all, It's in part because of Dr. Snowden's leadership. He's the longest sitting superintendent in the state of Tennessee. And the continuity of leadership makes a big difference. I've known him for close to 20 years, and we continue to grow that relationship. He mentioned safety. I don't have that in my PowerPoint, but I just want to reference that. Our safety directors share office space. Everything we do is coordinated as a whole with the sheriff's office and with the juvenile court, with those other assets that our community brings to try to maintain safety for our students. So when Dr. Snowden talked about access, trying to improve that, that's part of what we're working on as well. It's a constant challenge, you all. It's a constant battle to maintain safety for our students, not just their physical safety, but giving them a sense of safety on a daily basis. So with that, I'm starting with our vision statement. I talk about this often. Williamson County Schools will provide a supportive environment. I got to read it out, y'all, where students are challenged to pursue excellence in academics, athletics, and the arts. I often talk about that balance of a supportive environment and a challenging environment. That is that difficult balance to maintain, and y'all, our teachers and our administrators do an excellent job of maintaining that balance. Dr. Snowden mentioned the reward schools. The state's main measure for us that has existed for a long time is a reward school status. The state has for years measured schools on both academic growth and achievement. And the combination of that is the formula that they use to establish the reward schools. These are the most reward schools we've ever had in Williamson County Schools. We are so proud of the work our schools are doing, growing our students. And I want to talk a little bit about how we do that. I think most of you all in this audience in the summertime know that Williamson County Schools and Franklin Special School District are among, if not the highest performing school districts in the state. Let me tell you how we're doing it. We talk about growing just that 1% better every day. And we've done it with some specific research-based processes. Number one, we have found time for our teachers to work together, to collaborate with each other. And they just don't sit there together and talk about how things are going. They talk about their students' individual performance. They identify the state standards, what our students need to know to move to the next level, and they work together to identify what needs to be taught. They plan how to teach it together, and then they teach it, and then very quickly with little itty-bitty assessments, small tests here and there, they determine have our students mastered that standard. And if they haven't, they restructure their pacing, and they go back to make sure those students master it. Because if you pass a student on without that student mastering some key standard that they're going to need later on, they're going to struggle from that point forward. So they go back through that cycle. I think of it more as a doctor's visit rather than an autopsy. When I give you the end of year scores, that's the end of the year on how our students did. But it's because our teachers are working on a regular basis to make sure their students learn as they're proceeding, and we don't just find out at the end of the year have those students mastered that or not. And you all, this is a work in progress. We're not there yet. It takes that constant attention, constant drive. A couple of years ago, our board voted to approve 11 specific days during the elementary year where students are released a couple of hours early. We placed those dates strategically to make sure our elementary school teachers had time after those little assessments to go back and see have their students mastered the standards so that they can go back. So that time, if you have a child in elementary school, that time we bought that you all are picking up your children, or some of you may be leaving them because we are providing childcare, you were buying that instructional time, that collaborative time for our teachers to grow our students. That's just a short snapshot of how we're doing it. Making sure that that old line from 20 years ago, no child left behind, is really lived here in Williamson County. We're very proud of that. I got to do celebrations too. I think Diane, you mentioned CD, C's and D's. A year ago or so, the state established a structure that frankly was designed to identify failing schools in Tennessee. And I just put this slide up to show all our just our nearby Franklin high schools. This is the only ones I listed. The majority of our schools got A's, but I just put this up so you can get a glimpse of where you are here in Franklin with those A high schools. Again, it was designed to establish statewide failing schools. The structure that they had in Tennessee with this, somebody's got to fail. We haven't celebrated this much, but I think especially in Franklin, it was important for you to see what you're getting at our high school levels. Some more celebrations. I want to talk about our seniors who graduated, many of whom attended Franklin Special School District, and the growth that we got from FSSD and from our elementary and middle schools. We had 80 National Merit finalists. Those end up being those massive scholarships that our students get. It's our highest ever. You see the ACT scores. 36 is the highest possible score. 71 students, another high. 97 students with 35, on down the line. That $108 million scholarship number is the highest we've ever had. A few years ago, we used to announce the number of scholarships, the dollar value of scholarships offered. And what we ultimately decided was, well, if you don't accept it, what value is that? So we've included that number. That's the highest ever for our students, $108 million in scholarship money. The investment our community is making in education is paying off. And I actually just caught a glimpse of Senator Blackburn's got a representative. I'm sorry, I struggled with your name. We talked to you. We have multiple students who have been appointed to the military academies this year. The U.S. Congress and U.S. Senators are the ones who actually give those nominations. We're so proud of that commitment that our students have made as well. Final item I put here on this slide, 314 industry certifications awarded. About 80% of our students go on to college. But we know that we need to serve everyone, every opportunity. Many of you know that our special education services are second to none in the state. We actually attract families from other parts of the country who know that their children need more. And we do an incredible job with that. We often don't talk a lot about our college and career technical education programs, but I gave you one little nugget in this PowerPoint of how we're doing with industry certifications for our seniors. And I listed for myself some of those industry certifications, and some of you all may be familiar with these. The BASE, the biotechnician certification, CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant, OSHA 10 and OSHA 30, ServSafe, which is a culinary standard for safe food presentation, and Clinical Medical Assistant, CCMW, are there as well. The work we're doing in opening doors for our students, not just through scholarships, but through those additional opportunities, are second to none. How many of you have participated or visited our Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center? Raise your hand. Wow, almost everybody in this room. A few years ago, we started an Entrepreneur Center. We based that model on some school systems across the nation that we benchmark ourselves against. We know, because we're high performing, that we need to do more than just think about Tennessee alone. We have a benchmarking consortium from Metro Phoenix to Metro Chicago to Metro Atlanta. We happen to see a model from Naperville 203 outside of Chicago, where they had an entrepreneurship center in one of their high schools. We knew and saw that that was making a difference for those students. But we recognized that for us it needed to be something a little bit bigger. So we set up a center in Franklin, at Franklin High School, where all our high school students could come and learn some fundamentals about entrepreneurship. This year, we went through, I think if I'm not mistaken, maybe our fourth or fifth iteration of a competition among our students where they present their business, and local businesses actually donate their own funds to create seed money for those businesses to start. This year, one of our students created educational software that he identified as an opportunity to improve interaction between students and teachers in the classroom. We've been piloting it at our schools. He's already started to sell some of it. He is one of the top 5 national finalists for high school students in entrepreneurship. We'll be talking about that later on this year. It's not on my PowerPoint slide, but for me it's incredible. This young man, we'll see if you all ever have an opportunity to hear from him, because he's going to continue this business. But he talks about the development of his own capability, his own personality from middle school on. He used to talk about himself being the student who you just see walking along the hall by himself. And now he's presenting to businesses with his new software. We have our Entrepreneurship Center. Dr. Snowden mentioned aviation. We have, through the state, a grant to create a new innovation center to introduce just-in-time career technical opportunities for our students. Aviation is one of those programs that we've introduced. And it's going to flow vertically from the middle school through the high school, and we know that MTSU has similar programs. We've thoughtfully done this so that if someone wants to go into that industry, they can easily go from here on to MTSU in the aviation program. That particular center is scheduled to open in 2 years, but we've already started some of the curriculum, especially with the help of Franklin Special School District. So we're very proud of what we're doing for our seniors. I talked about academics, athletics, and the arts. I have to mention athletics and the arts. 98 all-state band, theater, orchestra, and chorus students. The most ever. Have y'all seen a theme? The most ever, the best ever. It's incredible the work that all our professionals are doing. You see the athletics numbers, and we've got those We have our state championship numbers listed. That's a combination of team sports and individual sports. And I won't rattle off all those. Some of you may have children participating in those. But I do want to mention that last bullet just a little bit. Girls flag football and lacrosse are entering the TSSAA program this coming fall. I am so proud, especially of girls flag football. We here in Williamson County were the first to pilot girls flag football. Y'all, we did it with the help of the Tennessee Titans. The Titans actually funded that program the last 2 years. The community help from them got this off the ground. And for me, I'm in my 19th year with Williamson County Schools, and I did some schoolwork prior to that. I've never seen anything that made the cultural difference that introducing girls flag football made to our schools, made to relationships. I've heard so many stories of fathers and daughters connecting in ways they never had because their daughters are participating in football. It's just been a great thing. It spread quickly. Other school districts recognized it. Frankly, it was inexpensive. Didn't cost that much to do. You already have the football field. You just got to buy the flags, got to pay for the referees. And it has grown already enough that TSSAA is picking it up as what they call an emerging sport this coming year. So we're very proud of that. Lacrosse is becoming a TSSAA sport largely because of work members of our community did. Not the school district, but members of our community, the Parks and Recs departments, various volunteers, etc. We are continuing to find opportunities for students, new opportunities. We know of scholarship dollars that some of our students have gotten because of lacrosse. Now TSSAA recognizes, because of its growth and the value, especially in Middle Tennessee, that it's something new for us. So we're proud of the work our school system is doing in leading the state. Got to talk about challenges. Told you we had 7 slides. You see at the top, our classroom teachers are staffed at 99%. Our growth in the schools has stabilized the last couple of years. For the first time in decades, we've been able to concentrate on staffing and improving that staffing in a way that we haven't been able to when we're constantly playing catch up. Now we're staffed at 99% with our teachers, but that one spot that's missing is painful. When we have an Algebra 1 teacher at one spot, even though we're at 99%, that's hard. We have found that competition for teachers is growing. Fewer teachers are getting out of the education schools, out of college with teachers' licenses. It becomes an ongoing challenge. It's getting more and more difficult. Dr. Snowden, I'm speaking for you a little bit, but you and I have actually had that conversation. Even FSSD is having trouble, right? We used to joke decades ago that you all were staffed because oh, if there was one, we just take one from Williamson or something. But it's not true anymore. We're competing with our neighbors for staffing, and it's a challenge. You all know the cost of living here in Williamson County is high. So we have a lot of commuters. What we have found is, generally speaking, our more experienced teachers live in the county, and the newer ones are having a hard time finding housing to live here in the county. So it's a continuing challenge. Special education teachers assistants, that's a challenge for us. 93%, but again, if you're missing a couple at a particular school, it's very difficult. Bus drivers. We serve about 27,000 students a day with our buses. That's about 2/3 or so of our total student population. That's a national issue with a shortage of bus drivers. If the economy tanks nationally, then the bus driver staffing tends to go up because it's not a 40-hour-a-week job, generally speaking. So right now we're still struggling, so we've had to be creative. In certain spots we have been piloting reducing the number of bus stops, creating hub stops for community so that students can gather at in one location. Buses can pick up and shorten their routes and pick up others more quickly. We will be introducing an extension of that pilot in different spots in some of our neighborhoods this coming year. What we have found from parents in those pilot areas, it kind of surprised us. We thought they really wanted that proverbial door-to-door service. What we have found is it has saved their children minutes every day. And that savings on the front end of the day And that savings on the back end of the day, our families have said this has been valuable. So we're going to expand that. We're not going to reduce the service, but we're going to reduce the number of stops so that buses can pick up quicker. So be looking for that in the fall and into the spring. Teacher and staff pay. You see our numbers right here. $40,150 was our starting pay in 2020. We have made incredible gains. I'm very proud of that. But y'all look at that second number. Current pay, $48,213. Is that a livable pay for somebody still? We still have a long way to go. Our proposal for our budget for this year is to raise the starting teacher pay to $50,100. Governor Lee has stated that all school systems across the state must be paying all teachers at least $50,000 by 2025. So we're going to be 1 year ahead of that in one of the most expensive places to live if our budget passes. I'm optimistic about our budget. We've been going through a lot of detail with the county commission, trying to find ways with the tools available to us to find a way to meet that. We really don't have enough money in our budget to afford that. So the proposal that's before the county commission that they will vote on later this week is the county forgives a little bit of the money we owe back to the county. We make some moves out of capital. We kick the can a little bit and take some money out of our fund balance later on. It's just a multiplicity of plans to try to find a way to make ends meet so that we can stay competitive for our teachers. I encourage you to watch that for teachers, because the heart of what we do is our teachers. We need to find ways to take care of them and pay them and give them a professional living income. Final thing I want to mention, state initiatives. It's in the challenges section. Educational savings accounts vouchers. I got to mention it because there was so much talk over the course of this year. That did not pass at the state level. So there still is some funding that the governor has set aside for that. We don't know what's going to happen with that. What we do know is if we focus on our mission to provide a supportive environment where students are challenged to excel in academics, athletics, and the arts, for us, that's nothing to worry about. But from a funding standpoint, it's a real challenge. Because in Williamson County Schools, we got about $4,400 per student from the state. About 2/3 of our total funding comes from county. Williamson County is a net giver to the rest of the state. And still, Williamson County has to find a way to fund our teachers. So I encourage you all as citizens, especially those of you who are active, the fact that you're here indicates that. Educate yourself on the funding model in the state. I worry about its long-term sustainability with that structure, especially given the governor's initiatives to increase pay when that burden continues to fall on the county. But our county has done it up to this point. But I know it will be a continuing challenge. Final thing, 3rd and 4th grade retention. A few years ago, this was a big issue for us. 2 years ago, the state passed this law, and they implemented it last year that if 3rd graders didn't pass TCAP, which used to be a measure for growth to identify where students needed help, then suddenly it became a high-stakes test that you got retained if you didn't pass a certain line. We struggle with that. The summer camps that Dr. Snowden mentioned, those are actually summer school programs that some students have to go to avoid being retained. The state made some changes this year where ultimately no student has to be retained. They heard us. They recognized that the appropriate thing is for parents and principals to talk about where a child is in their entire development, install some interventions to make sure that children can grow and prepare so that over the course of their career, by the time they're ready to graduate, they've mastered those standards that I talked about. I'm very thankful to the state legislature for making a change. Ultimately, at the 4th grade level, if the student doesn't show that appropriate growth, the principal and the parent have to have a discussion about whether the student should be retained. That's what we've been doing for decades. So I very much appreciate the state recognizing that and recognizing the professionals and the skill of the parents in having that conversation. Mindy, this is my last slide. Encourage you guys to stay involved. I just had some bullets here. PTOs, those of you who participate, thank you for your support. Once again, it's the highest ever, $13.3 million in family support, but it's the time you put in that makes a difference for us. So thank you for that. I probably went over.
No, you're good. Thank you so much. ask Dr. Snowden to come back up, and so this is a long day for both of you, I understand. You have a budget meeting tonight, and you have a school board meeting tonight, and you're both going to be hammering on some numbers for next year. How important is parental involvement? But tell us a little bit about what you're hammering out right now. And the difference between these two school districts is Dr. Snowden and his board have taxing authority under their authority, where the Williamson County schools must go to the county commission and seek their approval. So what's on y'all's agendas for this evening?
For us, I touched on it a little bit. We're trying to get a 6% raise for all our staff. We actually were able to do that last year. I talked to County Mayor Anderson, early on in the budget process back in November about trying to find a way to stay competitive. It's not just us, it's county staff as well, highway department on down the line. So we set out that goal, and I told them on the front end, we're not going to be able to afford that without help. We don't have the funding for that. But for the county, I don't know that we could have asked for that. We've got that plan that I touched on just a little bit. Our hope is that our board passes it. And then this Thursday, the county commission will vote on it. It does not include a property tax increase. But I want to give you this little bit of information. In 2005, the property tax rate in Williamson County was $2.84 per $100 value. And then you look at value, then you take a quarter of that for homes, and it kind of goes on down a little bit if you ever study your bill. $2.84. Our current property tax rate is $1.88. Since 2005, in less than 20 years, our tax rate has gone down 96 cents. We've been able to pay for that with growth. We've been able to pay for that with new commercial buildings, which actually fund our community. And so if you don't have that, it just becomes that next biggest challenge.
What are you talking about tonight, David?
Well, we're still looking at the opportunity to increase salaries for all of our employees, and that's the one positive thing I think. Each year our board looks at not just teachers, and teachers are vital, as we all know, but every employee in the Franklin Special School District is vital to the success of students. So we're looking at a 4%. Now where it differs, and it's the way the formulas, the way the calculations go, but that 4% does not take into consideration the step increase. So our step increase averages anywhere from 1.7 to 2.7 probably, or maybe a little differently. So if you look at it in that regard, all our employees would receive the same increase in salary percentage-wise as Williamson County.
So to that point, the state has a step structure for all the teachers. It's a minimum, and we're actually obviously above that minimum. And so our plan would be minimum 6%. So that's right, we've had that discussion that largely it's a very similar proposed pay raise.
Doesn't seem like there's a competitiveness between the two districts or anything like that. It seems like more there's a collaboration. Is that the case? What about your boards as well?
I totally agree, and it behooves us to be collaborative with Williamson County. Obviously, our students transition there after they leave 8th grade, but our board members work well with Williamson County school board members. So when you're having that kind of, as we mentioned earlier about safety and security, and Selby and Fletch working together, it makes good sense for us to work well together. And so I'm very pleased with the collaboration that we have.
We're still competing for bus drivers.
Still competing for bus drivers, that's true. I want to say thank you to Jeremy Maxwell, who runs this facility, and his help this week. But also, let's thank Dr. David Snowden and Jason Golden for their strong leadership of our schools. And please be engaged, be involved as it relates to schools, but thank them with your applause this morning.
Thank you.
So we want to remind you of a couple things coming up. Our next Frank Talks is July 15th. And I'm not sure where that is in my mind at this point, but it will be a City Hall on Wheels. It's on our website. You can go ahead and register for that. We also have breakfast with the mayors on July 30th at Rolling Hills, and we're working on that program with Williamson County Mayor Rogers Anderson and Franklin Mayor Dr. Ken Moore. Those are just some of our free events. We also are working with, just mark your calendars for July 10th. July 10th at 6 p.m. at Columbia State Community College in the new Arts and Technology Building, alongside Williamson Inc., the Williamson Herald, the League of Women Voters, and the Williamson County Association of Realtors. Franklin Tomorrow is joining in hosting a candidates forum for the 65th District State Representative's seat that will be open as Sam Whitson retires from the legislature. Don't forget that early voting starts a couple days after that in the August 4th primary that are both Republican and Democratic primaries on that ballot. And so early voting will be in July. So this will be a great way, if you're in the 65th district, to learn more about those candidates and help make your choice as we move forward there. So that'll be on our website, and I hope that you all can attend that as well as these other events. Hope you have a great summer, and please follow us on social media if you don't already, because that'll be a great way to stay involved with these activities and opportunities. So thanks so much. I hope you go out and make it a great day.